Happy 4th to all my fellow Americans. Don't party too hard today, and keep the red, white, and blue flying high. Hey guys, don't worry, I'm not dead. I took an unexpected break from YouTube the past couple months, but I'm back finally. And today's 4th of July. We just got done doing a little celebrating. My neighbors are actually shooting off fireworks right now. Now that we can actually legally buy them in Jersey. But anyway, I just wanted to make a summer update for you guys. I know I'm a couple months late with my PA Plow Day follow-up, and I do apologize for that. It's not like me to, keep my subscribers hanging, so I apologize for that. You'll have to forgive me. But I've actually had a very stressful and very busy summer. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and you have to pay attention to the more important things. So between running my lawn care business and doing a lot of other custom work for people, I've been doing a lot of pressure washing and landscaping and helping out my 90-year-old grandfather who lives across the street because his health has actually been declining these past couple months. So he can't really get outside. He can't be too active anymore because he's on oxygen. So I've been running around doing a lot of errands and helping him out when I can. So between that, the lawn care business, and also taking a few summer courses to catch up with school, those have been keeping me pretty occupied as well. But I finally got 2 minutes to take a YouTube video for you guys and give you guys an update. So I owe everybody a PA Plow Day follow-up, so I'll start with that, I guess. To be completely honest, this year wasn't too exciting for me. It was a bit of a bust, actually. But I can't say that I didn't have fun, because it's hard to go to PA Plow Day and not have fun. This year just had a couple unfortunate events happen, and for those of you who don't know, Friday afternoon we had a torrential downpour come through, and everything just got completely saturated. So it didn't dry out in time for us to even do night plowing on Friday. So we didn't do any plowing Friday, and we ended up doing all the plowing into the early afternoon on Saturday. And this year we were actually short 50 acres compared to last year. Last year we plowed 130 acres total. This year we could only plow 80 because some of the fields were just too saturated to plow, and the farmer had hay crop growing in a couple of our regular fields, so we were told not to touch those fields. So between those couple things, we were down several acres, and as usual, Plow Day attendance was very high this year. The attendance just keeps growing every year. It's because it's getting to be such a huge event. So we had a lot of tractors there this year. And Saturday morning, when we finally did get the chance to go out and plow, we only had so much time in the field before everything was done. So I got probably, 2 or 2.5 hours in the field total. So it wasn't, I tried to get footage of everything that I could, but, my videos this year aren't going to be too exciting, so I apologize for that. So as you all know, I brought the 210 and the 316 with me this year. The 210 is usually a pretty reliable tractor, and it works good as a backup. And this year it did come in pretty handy because my friend Tyler, his 318, the battery in his 318 died the morning before we were plowing. And there weren't any auto parts stores nearby, so him and his dad decided not to go search for another battery for it. So instead, I let him just run the 210. So he ran the 210, I ran the 316, and I'm sure we've all had those days where it seems like nothing is going right, and anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Well, that was the case for me at this year's Plow Day. So Tyler was running my 210, and for the first couple hours of plowing, it did great. He wasn't having any problems with it. And then a few hours later, the left front wheel actually fell off while he was, making a pass down the field. And I'm not completely sure why it happened. I mean, obviously the snap ring that holds the wheel onto the spindle must have come off, but I'm not sure if it broke or if it just fell off or what. So that was a little puzzling. It's the stupid little things like that always cause you problems. So he managed to get it back out of the field. We got it back to my truck, and I just loaded it up on the trailer and called it a day. So that was kind of unfortunate. But up until then, at least according to Tyler, the tractor was running pretty good. I wasn't there hanging with the rest of the group for most of the time, though, because I was having my own set of problems with the 316. The tractor itself ran really good. I wasn't really having much trouble with it, but I couldn't get my plow set up properly. I brought my 2 Brinly plows with me. My old Brinly plow, the white one there, I bought that 3 years ago, and then the new black Brinly plow sitting behind it there, I got that when I bought the 316 last summer. And the new Brinly plow has hardly ever seen dirt. It was only used once or twice in the past, so I figured I would run that behind the 316 because, I figured it would plow fine after I got it dialed in. So I made a couple rounds with it, but I just couldn't get it dialed in correctly. It wasn't cutting a smooth or square furrow like I wanted it to. It was kind of digging in more like a chisel plow, and I didn't like the way it was turning the soil over, so it was actually kind of pissing me off. And I just, I kept messing with it a little bit here and there, trying it out in a couple different fields, and once I did finally get it dialed in, I hit a rock in one of the bigger fields, and it actually bent the tip of the plowshare. So that was just my luck. That's my kind of luck for you. So I took it back to my truck. I tried to hammer out the plowshare to straighten it out, but I couldn't get it quite right because from that point on it still wouldn't plow the way I wanted it to. So I searched around a little bit, and I did end up getting another plowshare. It was a good used one that another Plow Day member was selling. He had a trailer full of parts, and he had an extra plowshare, so I bought it off of him. But by the time I got that plowshare mounted up on my plow, there was nothing left to plow. It was early in the afternoon, and all the fields had been plowed at that point, so I kind of missed out on the fun. For me personally, Plow Day this year was a little bit of a bummer, but it wasn't a total loss. One of the main reasons I've been going to this event is because, not only is it a great opportunity for us to show off our tractors and, buy and sell parts and have a good time with fellow hobbyists, but the people that, that participate in this event are some of the friendliest people you'll meet. They're very helpful, and a lot of the Plow Day veterans there, the guys who have been, in the hobby for years and have been going to Plow Days for years, a lot of them are willing to, help us younger guys out, get our tractors dialed in, get our plows dialed in, and make sure we're plowing good. And they're willing to, lend us parts or even let us run their tractors in some cases. And that's what I love about this event. It's become a big social event more than anything, or so it seems. But the people that are there, the people that travel from all over the country and even all over North America to go to this event, they make it totally worth it. So while I didn't, I had a couple breakdowns and things weren't quite going the way I wanted to, it was great, being able to meet up with other people and to get some help from friends there who were, trying to help me get my tractor and plow set up, and who were helping me, get whatever parts I needed, like the new plowshare. So, like I said, that's what makes this event worth going to. And there's a long list of people who helped me out that day. I can't remember everybody offhand, but some of my friends were nice enough to let me take a few rounds on all their tractors. I ran Joe's 318 that him and his dad had just finished restoring. I ran Jake's 332, which was an awesome experience, and I ran Liam's Cub Cadet 1872. I didn't actually plow with the 1872. I just drove it across the show area, the meeting area, to load it up on his trailer, but that was kind of neat. And of course, like I said, being there with all of our friends was always a good time. It's always a good time. So I was still able to enjoy myself. And those are just a few names I can think of. There were a lot of other people that helped me out too. So I really appreciate all the help, guys. Thank you. You all know who you are. So like I said, this year's Plow Day was not quite as exciting as the previous years, but I did manage to get some half-decent GoPro footage of me running those other tractors I mentioned. So I don't have a whole lot of footage compared to previous years, but I'll try and edit and upload what I can. It should be interesting, so you'll have that to look forward to. I know I'm 2.5 months late. You'll have to forgive me for that, but I'm starting to get back into the routine. I've been going to a lot of shows and been busy doing a lot of different things this summer, so I've got lots of cool videos coming. I have had a couple different machines in and out of the garage here over these past couple months of summer. I made a couple short videos on them, but nothing crazy. I had my neighbor's D160 John Deere back in here for just a tune-up. that was like a day project. I had a John Deere LX 176 that I got off of one of my lawn care clients who lives in another town. I actually I picked the tractor up from him back in January, but at the time I was away at school for most of the time, so I just didn't have the time to work on it. So I actually put it behind my shed, and that's where it sat for a couple months. And then once I came home for the summer, I brought it inside and cleaned it all up and tuned it up. And I really just acquired it to fix it and flip it. It really wasn't in bad shape either. Surprisingly, the hood had no breaks or cracks, which is rare for a 90s John Deere. It had been pretty well maintained. The guy actually bought it brand new in 1996, and I got all the original receipts and paperwork and brochures with it, so that was kind of cool. Out of all the tractors I've owned these past couple of years, I haven't gotten one with the original paperwork yet, so that was neat. That made the deal even better. But he was the original owner. He ran it up until about 3 years ago, and then the guy was getting older. He didn't want to do his lawn anymore, so he hired me to do it, and parked the LX 176 in his garage. And he offered it to me for free, and I really couldn't refuse. I had an LX 176 about 5 years ago, and I was actually very impressed with it for how small it was. Those LX 176s were a very good lawn tractor for their time. They're basically the equivalent of a current X300 series. So it was hard for me to refuse when he offered it to me for free. So I took it. Like I said, I cleaned it up. I replaced the battery and one battery cable. I replaced the blades because the blades were wore out, and I had to weld a patch on the mower deck. And I just, serviced it and got it ready to go. And the thing started up and ran great once I got it running. I have a video of that I'll probably upload later on. And then I just listed it on Craigslist and sold it locally, made a quick buck. So that was an easy project. And then I had my uncle's Cub Cadet Super LT 1554 in here for about a week. He acquired a John Deere X300 last year, and he liked the X300 a lot more than the Cub Cadet. So he actually wanted me to sell it for him. So I dragged it out of his garage and brought it up here, cleaned it up, and serviced it and listed it on Craigslist and had it sold in just a couple days. So that was a real quick and easy project. I'll tell you what, though, I have no desire to work on or even go near any of those newer Cub Cadets anymore. I managed to sell the LT 1024 and the GT 2550 that my grandfather used to own that were in the garage across the street there. I finally got rid of those two machines back in April. On my way up to PA Plow Day, I had the 210 and the 316 on my trailer, and I squeezed on the LT 1024 and the GT 2550. It was a tight fit, but I made it work. I brought them up there and sold them to Milheim Small Engine up there in central Pennsylvania. The owner was actually very interested in them because he buys and sells a lot of newer, like late model lawn tractors, and apparently up in that area there's a pretty big demand for late model Cub Cadet parts. I was going to part them out myself, but I just didn't. Honestly, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I just didn't feel like it, and I didn't want to have parts laying around everywhere. Here in New Jersey, there doesn't seem to be much demand for parts for those newer Cub Cadets. But out there in central PA, the owner, Henry, the guy that owns Milheim Small Engine, he seemed pretty interested in them, and he was actually going to, he wanted to give me a good chunk of change for them. So I brought them up there and sold them to him. So they're finally gone. Just two more headaches out of the way. My main goal this summer was to spend most of my time working on the Cub Cadet 782 build here. I would much rather work on one of these older Cub Cadets, that's for sure. But I've just been so busy with other projects. And at this point in my life, I'm trying to finish up college, and I'm planning to move out of here in the next couple of years. So I don't want to keep acquiring too many tractors. So and honestly, like, even having more than two tractors is too much for me for what I use them for, because I buy garden tractors to either fix them up and use them or fix them up and sell them. So if I buy a machine and it just sits around here, I got to get rid of it. I just don't like having too many machines sitting around. So I figured instead of, hoarding so many different machines, it would be a good idea to just fix up what I have and, run them for a couple years and maybe buy another project tractor down the road when I've got more time on my hands. So I decided to prioritize finishing the 782 and fixing a couple quirks with the 210. But ironically, as part of my goal to stop buying so many tractors, I ended up buying another one, as you can see here. This is a 1983 John Deere 214. I actually picked this up on my way home from school. The semester had just finished up, and I was actually coming home for summer vacation or summer break. I had a little extra room on my trailer, and this 214 just happened to be on my way home. And the guy had it listed on Facebook Marketplace for a pretty good deal, so it was hard to refuse. So I picked it up and brought it home with me. Don't get too excited, though. I'm actually using this as a parts tractor for the 210 because the 210 has a couple problems with it. Just a lot of little things like wear and tear items, having some issues with the clutch, and the gas tank leaks. I think it has a hairline crack in it somewhere that I can't find. And just some other things. The Kohler K341 engine is starting to get a little tired. It's burning oil and smoking a lot more now, and it seems to be down on power. I installed that engine about 4 years ago, but it was an original engine. It was never rebuilt. It came out of a 216, and I've put probably 300 or 400 hours on it since then. I mean, I do use this tractor quite a bit, so I mean, it doesn't really owe me anything. So I figured, I'm going to rebuild this engine, but in the meantime, I would like to find another engine to put in it. And while I have it all apart, I'd like to swap over some parts that it needs, just some little odds and ends here and there. So I got a pretty good deal for that 214 and a bunch of spare parts, so I brought the 214 home. It's nothing special. It's got a blown head gasket. It's got a couple leaks. The mower deck was repainted, but it doesn't look very good. It mows good, though, and it sounds pretty quiet, but it's got a couple issues with the clutch and variator as well, and the carburetor needs rebuilt because it bogs down when you put it under a load. But other than that, it does run all right. I'll start it up for you guys here. Like I said, it is original. It's still got the original Kohler K321 in it. And it does run all right, but it has a blown head gasket. And like I said, it bogs down when you put it under a load, so it sounds like it's a little low on power. But I figured I'll replace the head gasket and probably pull this engine out and use it as a spare for the 210 while I'm rebuilding the 16 horse. Then I'm going to swap over some other parts that the tractor needs off of this one. So this 214 is nothing to get really excited about, but it runs all right. Kind of reminds me when I first got the 210, but if I knew back then what I know now, I would have just left it original. I would have never restored it. But, oh well, you live and learn. That was 7 years ago, but I've learned a lot since then. So yeah, so the 214 is nothing special. I'm going to be using that as a parts tractor for the 210, so that's going under the knife next. I have to tear both of these tractors apart and figure out which parts are good and which are not, and then I'll just start swapping things over. I got the 43 blade mounted on it because I was doing a little backfilling with it a couple days ago. We had a graduation party this past weekend, and a lot of people were parking in the empty lot next to my house, and a couple cars were sinking down into the mud and leaving ruts everywhere, so I had to go back and grade them out. So that's why the blade's on it. But otherwise, I would put I'm actually going to put the 47 mower deck back on it pretty soon. And then once I'm done swapping parts between the 210 and the 214, I'm going to get back to work on the 782. I've put about 10 hours of runtime on it now since I first got it fired up back in April. And the owned engine has been running very good. I really can't complain too much. I haven't tried mowing with it yet or anything. I still have to get the PTO clutch adjusted correctly. I've been using it for pulling my 80 cart around and pulling the lawn sweeper around, and it does seem to run pretty good. But I just recently found out that it has a bad stator because it won't charge. I've replaced every single electrical component on this tractor except the stator, and I put another brand new battery in it because the other one was weak, and it still drains the battery, so I figure it's got a bad stator. I'm kind of kicking myself now that I didn't bother to replace the stator when I had the engine out over the winter, but oh well, you live and learn. This will be the second or third time I've had the engine out, and should be the final time, so I'm not too worried about it. I have a new stator sitting here in the box. I just have to get it out, and I have a whole box of new parts waiting to go on this tractor too, like tail lights and other miscellaneous things. But like I said in the past, this is going to be a long-term build. It's it's something that I plan to do over a long period of time, and I'm going to be adding new upgrades to it little by little. You may notice here I bought a Category 0 3-point hitch for it. I actually ended up buying this from Milheim Small Engine as well. I got a pretty good deal for this hitch. He had an 1811 Cub Cadet for sale sitting out in the yard, and it had an original OEM Cub Cadet 3-point hitch with a brand new top link. And I asked him if he would be willing to sell the 3-point hitch separately, and he said, "Yeah, $150 and you can have it." So, and consider that a brand new Extreme Motorworks 3-point hitch for one of these things sells for over $500. $150 was a pretty good deal, so I had to pick it up. So this is one step closer to having it ready for plow day, because this is going to be a plow tractor. So I picked up the 3-point hitch, and I also got a 3-point A-frame adapter to use my sleeve hitch plow off of my buddy Harrison. Thanks, Harrison. I really appreciate it. Saves me from having to buy a dedicated 3-point Brinly plow. I do want to get one of those down the road, but not right now. So I got the 3-point hitch and the A-frame adapter, and just a couple days ago I picked up a set of new old stock Carlisle Superlug 4-ply ag tires. These are not too easy to find anymore unless you know people. A lot of garden tractor pullers swear by these Superlug tires, especially the 2-ply version, because they flex with the ground really well. So they're great for pulling. And from what I understand, the Superlugs were the forerunner to the True Powers. I was going to just get another set of True Powers, but I got a pretty good deal on these Superlugs. They're new old stock, and they've never been mounted, so they're still practically brand new. The guy that I got them from was selling a John Deere 318 in a package deal. It was a real low hour 318. It only had like 450 original hours, and it had a bunch of spare parts and attachments with it, and those Superlugs were included in the deal. And I asked if he would sell them separately, and he gave me a pretty good price on them, so I picked them up. I think the Superlugs look a little bit better on these 82 series and the wide frame Cub Cadets. I think they look better than True Powers, honestly, so I just had to get those. So that'll make another nice addition. I'm not quite ready to start installing the 3-point or the new tires yet because, well, one, I have to get the 214 and 210 straightened out first and get rid of the 214. But with the 782, I still have to change out the stator, and I have to add the axle reinforcement braces under the frame from Extreme Motorworks because the aluminum transaxle housings and axle housings in these newer 82 series tractors were notorious for cracking the housings. So I'm going to add the reinforcement braces from Extreme Motorworks to remedy that problem. And I've got a couple other things I want to do to it yet. I still got to replace the seat, replace the tail lights, and just, get the engine tuned in a little bit better, get the PTO clutch and get the mufflers mounted up permanently, and get the 46 GT deck working on it first, and then I can start worrying about getting the 3-point hitch and the tires mounted up. And eventually I do want to put power steering on it. That'll come later though. So like I said, it's a long-term project, but it should be pretty exciting. So yeah, that's the 782 project for you right now. I forgot to mention this earlier, but you probably also noticed that we've reorganized the garage. We got rid of most of our junk that was sitting up there in that front corner near the door. We had a lot of like old toys and bikes and stuff like that we didn't use anymore. So we got rid of it, and we moved my work area up to the front here. I'm not quite used to it yet. It's a little bit of a tight fit. My neighbors are having a little fun over there, it looks like. But like I said, we moved everything up to this front corner, and I'm still getting used to it. I do have enough space to comfortably fit 3 tractors though, so I can't really complain. So that was just another thing we did. We did a little spring cleaning. So for a while we actually had the garage all torn apart. So that wouldn't have made for a very good YouTube video anyway. So anyway, there you go. That's just a summer update and a plow day follow-up. I'm going to get my plow day videos, or possibly video, it may just be one video, uploaded next. And then I've got some cool videos from other events this past summer, such as the Nittany Antique Machinery Show and the ATCA National Truck Meet up in Macungie, Pennsylvania. That was a pretty fun day too. So I've got lots more videos coming. I just have to get them edited and uploaded, and sorry to keep you guys waiting for so long. I don't like to let my subscribers down like that, but just wanted to let you know that I'm back. You know, I'm not dead, and I will have lots more videos coming. I still have a lot more planned for this summer, so you'll have that to look forward to. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And to my fellow Americans, don't party too hard. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.